Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Homer Lozano, and this is episode 206 of the world famous University Love podcast, also known as Online Marketing Moves. Ladies and gentlemen, we are rocking and rolling around here these days, okay? People are really starting to realize that this is the best podcast in how many galaxies, everybody? 1, 2, 3. And I appreciate you for listening, and I appreciate you for getting the word out. Or maybe you haven't got the word out, but if you haven't, please spread the word. All right. But anyway, today, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take you back. It's going to be story time. Okay. I'm going to take you back to 1991. Everybody, how many of you remember 1991? I was 12 years old. Woo. That was a long, long time ago. Okay. I was 12 years old. It's the summertime. We'll say June, July, something like that. I believe June of 1991. All right. Yours truly was a big time baseball player. This was my last year of Little League Baseball. Now, out of all the sports that I have ever played, I took the baseball like fish take the water, okay? Wasn't the best basketball player, definitely wasn't the best football player. I wrestled 1 year in high school. That wasn't so hot. So athletic wise, I'm on the court. I'm pretty smart when it comes to knowing the plays, knowing the moves, and all that jazz. But athletic wise, I got the short end of the stick. You know what I mean? But anyway, that doesn't really matter. But baseball was my thing. So 1991, I was on a Little League team. I will tell you what's the name of the team? Kiwanis, something like that. You had to, but we was a team. This was our record. Now this is a true story. Our record for that year, we were 1 and I think we were 1 and let's see, we had to be 1 and 9 or 1 and 10 coming into the playoffs. All right, now we had eight teams. Yeah, we had 8 teams. So we all made the playoffs. Of course, we was the last seed, and we got to play either the top seed or the top two. Or I think the first 2 seeds got by, so we played the 3rd seed. Okay, so it was us against them. They beat us twice, pretty bad, and I mean, we was just. I don't know what happened. I don't know why we were so terrible, but we were not good at all. But I remember this day like it was yesterday. You know how some days, no matter how old you are, no matter how old you get, some things myself, I don't know about you, but me, I've forgotten a lot of stuff from my childhood. I don't remember a whole lot, especially from 12 to 18. I really don't remember much, not too much. But this particular day, I remember like it was yesterday. Now, when I was playing baseball, I played shortstop, third base, first base, and every now and then I would play the outfield, but mainly shortstop, third base, first base. Those were my 3 things that year. And I was fairly decent, I wasn't too shabby. As I told you, baseball was my best sport. So I remember I got to the ballpark. Oh yeah, and I had started pitching a little bit, but not too much. Then I remember I got to the ballpark, and my coach at the time, I was like, what position you want me to take, coach? And he said, you know what? He said, you know what, Tony, today you are going to start, my man. I said, start what? He said, you are starting pitching. I said, huh? I said, you sure about that, coach? He said, yes, sir. He said, you look pretty good out there pitching, so we're going to give you a shot. So he said, we got to do something different. I said, all right, coach, we'll see what we can do. And at first I was kind of like, oh crap, like what am I, what? I never started pitching before. I just started pitching like 2 games ago, and my favorite pitcher at the time, now this is gonna be baseball, but a lot of you probably don't know, but my favorite baseball pitcher at the time was a guy named Rick Sutcliffe, and his nickname was Big Red, and he had this kind of pitching motion. And I remember the first time I went out there trying to pitch, I tried to emulate his pitching motion, and my coach said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I seen this on TV," and he said, "Nah, don't do that." And then I said, "Oh, okay." But anyway, so he gave me the chance to start, and I said, "Okay, great." I went out there and I warmed up, and I'll never forget this. And I said, at first I was a little nervous, and I said, "You know what?" I said, "Man, I'm one of the best people on this field." That day I thought to myself, I said, you know what, man, I'm one of the best. I said, this is baseball. This ain't basketball. This ain't, any of them other sports that I'm okay at. This is baseball. I said, if I don't know anything else, I know how to play the game of baseball. So I said, you know what, we're just gonna, get it together. We'll go out here. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna go out here and pitch a no-hitter. I'm gonna give it my best. Now, keep in mind that we stunk as a team. We was 1-10, 1-12, something like that. We was bad. But I told myself, I said, we are going to pull off the upset. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? The first 3 or 4 innings, shutout. We was up 3-0. I remember this like it was yesterday. We was up 3-0. We were winning the game. And we were looking like a real dominating team. And my coach, he kept looking at me. He said, man, you pitching one hell of a game. And I said, thank you, coach. And, the more I went out there, the more confident I got. And I said, you know what? I am the man out here. This is my time to shine. And every pitch that I threw, I only weighed like 100 pounds. So every pitch I threw, I put every ounce of my weight into those pitches. I gave it a go. I struck some people out. Some people grounded out, and it was going good. We got up to about the 5th inning, 5th or 6th inning, and we were still up 3-4-0, and we were looking pretty good. And I remember the coach on the other team, he said something I'll never forget. He said, "Are you guys gonna lose to this sorry bleepity bleep MF and team?" I said, hold on, wait a minute. Who are you talking about? I said, he talking about us? And he said, they are the worst effing team I've seen since I've been coaching Little League. And you gonna lose to these effing guys? I'm cutting all you mother loose. I was like, oh man. I said, wow, this is quite amazing. And he blistered into them pretty good. And I don't know what happened after that. It got them fired up, and I pitched, I think, about another inning, and then I started to get tired, and coach said, "All right, we're gonna swap. You're gonna put you on first base, and we're gonna bring somebody else in." I said, "Okay." We were still winning the game. It was up like 4-2, 4-2. We were still up. We had one or two innings left. And I never forget. The wheels on our team started to come off. We had a guy, he made an error and gave up a run. So now we're up 4-3. All right, we're still hanging on. I'm like, if we can just manage to escape, this will be a big upset. And people in the stands were cheering us on because we only won one game. Nothing's more depressing. If you want to be an athlete, or you are an athlete, or you just like to win, nothing is more deflating than going into a game and just knowing that the chances of you winning are slim to none. Because at the first few games, I thought, okay, we are, because on paper we look like a decent team. We had some pretty good people, but I don't know if it was the chemistry. I don't know what happened, but we just seemed like we just kept running into bad luck. I don't know. But on this night, we looked like we were supposed to look in the beginning of the season. So, we got to the last inning. We were up 4-3 in the bottom of the ninth. I think it was bottom of the ninth. Had to be bottom of the ninth. We was up 4-3. Of course, Somebody gave up couple hits. They had man on first and second. Somebody else got a hit. Bases loaded. All right, bases loaded. They're up 4. We're up 4-3. You know, it's like one out, and I pitched. I'm at first base now. When you're on first base, there's not. I mean, you can still help out with the game, but the game's kind of out of your hands. The only thing you can do is get to the bag as quick as possible and catch the ball. But if the people aren't throwing you the ball, then it's not a whole lot you can do. But I remember this. The guy, he threw a pitch. The guy hit a weak. When I mean weak, noodle weak. He hit a weak ground ball to the third baseman. I won't say his name. I remember his name like it was yesterday. I haven't seen this guy in 25 years, but I still would like to slug him one time. But anyway, he rolled a weak ground ball. If you ever watched the 86 Mets and Boston Red Sox, it was sort of like that, but it was worse because this ball was weak. This ball was like one of the weakest balls I ever seen hit. And of course, our third baseman, he just sort of let it roll through his legs and then sort of scribbled out to the outfield. And 1 run scored, 2 runs scored. And we lost the game 5-4. And I was. Have you ever looked around? Have you ever looked around? Have you ever just been. Have you ever felt like you're just lost and then you look around and you don't know what's going on? You don't know where you're at? That is the feeling I had. I'm looking around and I'm like, what happened? What just happened? I thought we was going to pull off the upset. This would have been one of the biggest upsets. I was looking to be the winning pitcher. I was going to go have myself ask my parents, can you buy me a milkshake from the restaurant? I'm feeling pretty good about myself. But we lost the game, and I just remember the ball was so weak, and it was just, it was just kind of deflating, and it was just like, what happened? It's just like, I every I then I right we lost the game. I got the game ball from my coach. He was like, you pitched a great game. I can't say enough about how good you did. This, that, and the other, And I remember I got home and I was just worn out because this is probably the first time in my life, in my little 12 years of living, that I put every ounce, every drop of sweat, I put everything I had into this one game, Like I left it all on the field. Like I can't say, hey man, I have to, jacked around or, I gave 75%. No, I gave 100% of my body, my soul, my spirit into this game. I gave it all. I had nothing left to give. I remember I went home and I just passed out, And it made me realize, even though we lost, and of course, I definitely wanted to win. Like not just because I was pitching, but just because, to be 1-9 or 1-10, to have that kind of record, that kind of poor record, and to come into the playoffs and pull off an upset like that, you know how great of a feeling that would have been. Even if we, next game, who knows what would have happened, but at least we would have had a chance. You know what I mean? Like if we could have pulled off a couple of upsets, made it to the championship, that would have been amazing. But it wasn't meant to be. But I look back on that day and it makes me think, if I put that day made me realize that if I put every ounce of me into whatever I want, then I can make things happen. You know what I mean? Like that was for me, that was a turning point. Like I said, okay, when I'm invested in something and when I'm fully invested and fully engaged and I give it my 100%, then the outcome, the scoreboard didn't give me the result I was looking for, but I felt good that I put my team, I put our team in a position to win the game. And there's nothing that any, you got 9 players on the field. Nobody could tell that nobody could, reach down for that guy and grab that ball. That's on that's up to him. That's your teammate. So one thing, two things I learned from that day. You know, whenever it's just like this business that you and I, you know, no matter what you want to do, no matter, what kind of business you want, no matter what kind of, you want to be, whatever, famous or, run a business or whatever you want to do. If you're going to do something, give it 100%, give it everything you got. And I mean that, I'm not, like I told you before, this ain't no preaching. You know what I mean? This is just a guy sharing a story with you because, man, I'm 41 years old. That was 29 years ago. And I remember that. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. And that day affected my life in a positive way, even though we lost the game, but it affected me in a positive way because I realized, I said, you know what, man, I can do what I want to do. Now, sometimes I've gotten lost along the way, but I'll always come back to that story. I've always come back to those thoughts. Like, if I give it 100%, if I leave everything on the table, man, can't nothing or nobody in the world stop me from doing what I want to do. You know what I mean? And so leave it all out there, give it everything you got. It's just like you go to a job sometimes. Sometimes, like in the world of trucking, you either all in or you like when you go to these in truck driving. I don't know about how other industries work, but in truck driving, you do this thing where they call it orientation. You go for like 3 days, and by the third day, it don't take you long to figure out if I'm gonna work for this company for a long time. I ain't gonna be here long at all. And it don't take long to figure that stuff out. And in your heart, it's not about the company. It's just about the vibe and the feeling you get from the company and because some place you work, you mesh well, some don't. It's not about the company, it's not about you. It's just sometimes a fit is a fit. You know what I mean? So lesson number one, leave it all out there. Just leave it. If you want to go to Hollywood and be famous, go for it. Don't put a one toe in. Don't you know go for it. Go to every audition you can. If you have to work a job, but still make sure you go to these auditions. Make sure you showing up. Make sure you giving it your best. Make sure you putting it out there. Make sure you putting yourself out there. Don't go, I think I would like to do it. As I told you in the bonus episode this week, the first bonus episode, hope is for the dopes. We ain't hoping for nothing. We are giving it every ounce we got. We're going to leave it all out there on the field, and we are going to let this, as the great Bill Walsh, his book said, you leave it all out there on the field. You have a plan. You do everything that you can do. All you can do, the score will take care of itself. Okay. And lesson number 2 about that game that I learned: make sure you have good teammates. Okay. Make sure you got good teammates because you see my teammate sucked. Okay. How you let that ball roll between your legs like that? You sucker. But I'm only kidding. But no, definitely, really. All jokes aside, make sure, especially when you are in a business, if you're going to be in a partnership with somebody, make sure that the partnership is going to work. Make sure, because you don't want to have, business wise, you don't have to be the best of friends to run a successful business together. I mean, if you develop a great friendship, then hey, that's excellent. But sometimes, being like, I know me growing up, the friends I had, we couldn't have run the business together. All they would have wanted to do was joke around, hee hee ha ha. None of that would have worked. I remember me and my brother, we thought about running the business together. First thing my brother said something to me so nonsensical. I said, you know what, my man, this ain't gonna work. He started talking about vacations already. I said, this guy, you got to be kidding me, man. What vacation we got to take? We ain't got no money. My brother said, hey man, what about a vacation? Man, we take off when we want to, man. We ain't gotta work too hard. I said, man, don't you know the idea of running your own business? You gonna work harder than what you do working for somebody? And he was like, what? Man, what's the point of that? I said, come on, man, this ain't gonna work. So, leave it all out there and definitely make sure you pick the right teammates. I couldn't have picked the worst team. Nah, I'm just kidding. The baseball, Little League, you don't pick your teammates. But anyway, just make sure, because the thing is, it's not about, like I said, it's not about the score. It's about you. You know what? Because at the end of the day, and I know people have all these excuses, and sometimes we all fall into the habit of trying to play the blame game. But at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the mirror. It's nobody to blame but you. If there's, like I said yesterday, how are you using your time? If you got 5 minutes to work in your business, and you're not doing, if you're busy watching videos and for those 5 minutes, later on, don't say, oh man, I ain't got no time to work on my business. You had 5 free minutes, but you decided, instead of you saying, hey man, I'm gonna work on my business, you decided, hey man, I'm gonna take these 5 minutes and just watch videos. If all you got is 5 minutes a day to work on your business, then take those 5 minutes a day and work on that business. Don't screw around, don't mess around, and then start blaming everybody and everything else for your problem or why you're not where you want to be. Because, and I know sometimes we all grow up in different environments and we all come from different walks of life, but eventually you learn more. Eventually you get from under your parents. Your parents, sometimes God bless them, but some of them, they might not know exactly. They don't know everything. That's one thing I've learned. Your parents don't know everything. I know as a future parent, I'm definitely not going to know everything. My child probably would think I know everything, but eventually they will learn the same thing that I learned about my parents. They know quite a bit, and they are here to help you out, and they love you. Your parents love you, but they don't know everything. Some things you have to just learn on your own. Some things they can help you out, but the faster you don't blame, the faster, the point I'm driving home is, yeah, we all come from different environments, and some of us start off, further in the back than others. It's not, some people are born, sort of like some people get an inheritance. Some people get a inheritance of $100 million, and some people get a negative credit score on. Some people get the cable bill put in their name, and their cable done got cut off. So they 18, they go trying to get cable, and they're like, sir, you owe us $200. Yeah, you had a cable bill in your name about 5 years ago, and you go, what? I was 13 then. How in the heck I got a cable bill in my name? It's like, oh, that's not our problem. So, everybody starts from different points of life. But at the end of the day, this is we are in the modern technology world. We have all these apps. We have the Googles. We have everything. We have information at your fingertips, and everybody has a phone. I remember I saw a guy. He was homeless. He had a computer hooked up somewhere outside. I said, man, I guess everybody has access to the internet these days, huh? So, with that being said, I know, I'm not trying to, preach and tell you, don't be, I'm not gonna be the Steve Harvey and be like, you shouldn't be sleeping, but eventually it might take you longer than it takes others, but eventually you will be able to get, well, for me, in my opinion, I'm gonna tell you my opinion about this whole, you know, my parents come from a different generation than I come from. And my parents always told me, they said, you know what? I want you to have a better life than what we had. And for my child, I'm going to say the same thing to them. I'm going to say, I want you to have a better life than me. So I'm going to put them in a position to where they can, have a better life, than their old Paul. So one of my goals, I'll tell you one of my goals for my child. One of my goals for my child is I don't want them to have to join the military. So for me, I am going to get them into one of those college saving plans early on. When they're like, as soon as they're born or one or whatever, we're going to get them into a college savings plan. And I'm not necessarily going to say you got to go to college, but they save the money and they figure out what they want to do with their little lives. And, they come to us and they come to me and my wife and say, Lord willing, we all make it to that time, and they're 18 and, and everything else. And they say, I want to do this, I want to do that. Then I'll say, hey, if you want to stay here with us, we're not going to charge you rent. And you can stay here for a little while and get it together, save up some cabbage, and, and take it from there. So my parents, they definitely went past where their parents are at. And, it's not a offensive thing to say, I believe that, my parents, I'm still at it. And they told me, they said, we want better for you than what we grew up on. So, I'm taking the baton from them, and now I'm running towards the next generation, and I want the next generation to, do the same thing, until one of these little Rizanos run around that I gave birth to, or, they are descended of me, is worth like $400 million. Then maybe I can get reincarnated and come back and they'll spend all their money. How about that? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's it. Just if you didn't learn anything else from that story, and I know the last few minutes we sort of joked around and hee and ha ha, but very serious though. Leave it all out there, man. Whatever you're trying to do, give it your all. Put everything you got into it. As you well know, sometimes some results are gonna take longer than others, but at the end of the day, if you can look at yourself in the mirror and really say, hey man, I gave it everything I got, then that's all the universe can ask of you. You know what I mean? So I know this was a long podcast, but I know you're gonna enjoy it. And that's it. I keep thinking today's Thursday, but today is Wednesday, okay? And we'll be back tomorrow with another hard-hitting episode. I don't know why I worry about the days, because we do this podcast 7 days a week, so it's not a big deal. But anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with another hard-hitting episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, stay safe. Man, I pray for you, man. If you live in Texas, you ain't got no power and all that stuff, man. I'm praying for y'all. Of course, I pray for all you guys and gals on a daily basis. But stay safe, stay warm. If you don't have to be out in the ice in the icy roads, stay at home. But anyway, that's it for the podcast. My name is Tony Rizzano. This is Online Marketing Moves, and we will see you tomorrow. Hold on, man. We're going to wrap this up properly. All right. This is a wrap for episode 205 of Online Marketing Moves. I'm Tony Rizzano. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. But until then, as always, everybody, peace.